right, so today we're diving into Broadcom. Looks like you want to see if it's a good investment or not.
Yeah, lots of people are asking about Broadcom these days.
Definitely a hot topic, and we've got a ton of info to go through.
Yeah.
Got a stock report here, some highlights from their latest earnings
Well,
call.
we got some analyst price targets, too.
Don't forget the news articles. Let's try to make sense of it all.
Sounds good to me.
So to start off, Broadcom, they work in two kind of different areas, right?
Right. They've got their semiconductor solutions. Basically, that's where they make chips for all kinds of devices.
Okay.
And then there's their infrastructure software side, which really got a boost when they bought up VMware.
Yeah, that was a big move. But you know what really caught my eye? Their performance in AI. I mean, in their last earnings call, they said AI revenue was up 150% from last year in Q4.
Oh, yeah. That's definitely eye-catching.
That's insane growth. So what's fueling that?
Well, a few things are coming together. Like, you've got the big players, the hyperscalers like Google and Amazon. They're pouring money into AI infrastructure.
Yeah, makes sense. They're all in on AI.
And Broadcom is in a perfect spot to benefit. Their AI chips, especially these tensor processing units they make, are in high demand. Everyone wants them for machine learning.
So they're not just riding the AI wave. They're like the surfboard maker.
Exactly. But that brings up a question. How much of Broadcom's value is tied to this AI excitement? And can they keep it going?
That's a good point, especially because their stock price is already higher than what some people think it's worth. It seems like the market is betting big on Broadcom.
Yeah, and that's where things get tricky. A high valuation like that means the market expects that AI growth to just keep accelerating. But what if it slows down? Or what if someone else comes up with a better AI chip?
Those are definitely risks investors need to think about.
No doubt. So it's not just how they're doing now, it's also about can they stay ahead in this super fast-moving tech world?
Exactly. And speaking of big moves, we got to talk about VMware. It was a huge acquisition.
Huge.
And seems like it's doing well in terms of revenue and margins.
Yeah. Exceeding expectations so far.
But is that sustainable long term? I've heard rumblings about some cultural clashes and job losses at VMware. Could that hurt them down the line?
You know, you make a good point. Sure, the numbers look good right now, but integrating a company as big and complex as VMware, that's a long game. We do have to consider what those internal issues might mean in the long run.
Feels like with Broadcom, every exciting development comes with a little bit of a warning label.
Yeah, it does a little.
So we've seen their AI success, the VMware integration, looking good so far, but there are potential problems with both. Now, what about their other business, the stuff that's not AI, the non-AI semiconductor segment?
Ah, yeah, that's a different story. That side of things is actually facing some headwinds. We're seeing revenue decline there year over year.
Oh, so it's not all sunshine and roses. What's causing that?
A few things. Demand is slowing down in certain markets. They've got more competition, and supply chain problems are still kicking around.
So it's like Broadcom is this mix of huge potential in AI and some real struggles in other areas. Seems like their future kind of depends on if that AI momentum can outweigh those other problems.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And it leads to a crucial question for anyone thinking about investing. How much of Broadcom's current value is based on realistic predictions versus just hype?
To figure that out, I guess we need to look closer at what the analysts are saying and think about any risks that might be lurking out there.
Exactly. And speaking of risks, there's one big one we got to talk about, Apple.
Oh, Apple. Right.
That situation could have a huge impact on Broadcom's future. So yeah, Apple. There's this rumor they might start using their own chips for Bluetooth and Wi-Fi.
Big deal because Apple's like their biggest customer, right? If Apple ditches Broadcom's chips, that could be a massive hit.
No sugarcoating it. Some analysts think Apple going in-house could cost Broadcom billions.
Ouch. Billions with a B. Makes you wonder what Broadcom's plan is. Are they trying to get more customers? Coming up with new products?
Doing both, actually. They've been expanding what they offer, especially in software with that VMware deal. And they're poking around in new areas, too, like cars and factory automation stuff.
So the Apple thing is scary, but maybe not a death sentence?
Yeah.
Sounds like they're trying to not put all their eggs in one basket.
Exactly. Which kind of fits their whole strategy. Broadcom's got this history of buying up companies and making it work. They're not afraid to make big moves.
But those acquisitions, especially a giant one like VMware, those come with headaches too, right?
Yeah.
How do we even know if those headaches will turn into good things or just drag them down?
Got to look past the headlines and dig into the numbers. For VMware, we need to focus on things like how many customers are using it, how many are leaving, and can they sell more stuff to those customers by bundling it with Broadcom's other products.
So it's not just revenue going up, it's also figuring out what's happening under the hood and if it'll actually be valuable in the long run.
Absolutely. And that brings us back to this question of how much Broadcom's worth. They're selling at a premium right now. Does that premium make sense given all the risks and uncertainty we've talked about?
Well, we've got these analyst opinions to look at. Some are bullish, some are bearish. What are they focusing on? Why are they so different?
The bullish ones, they think Broadcom's going to nail their AI plan and that VMware thing is going to be a home run. They see huge growth potential. But the bearish ones, they're more worried. They point to that high price tag, what could happen with Apple, and maybe the hyperscalers won't spend as much in the future.
So no clear answer. Guess it depends on which side you think is more likely.
Exactly. And this is where you got to do your own homework and think about how much risk you're okay with. Do you believe Broadcom can handle all this and do what the market expects?
Man, this is interesting stuff. It's not an easy call. Lots of good points on both sides.
Yeah, that's investing for you. It's rarely black and white. You got to weigh the evidence, understand the risks, and make a smart decision that fits what you want to achieve.
So we've covered a lot. The AI boom, the VMware situation, what could happen with Apple, their problems outside of AI, and what the analysts think. So final verdict, is Broadcom a buy, hold, or sell?
Oh man, if only I had a crystal ball.
Yeah, right.
But here's how I think about it. Ask yourself, does Broadcom's strong position in AI justify their high price? Are you okay with the risk that comes with relying so much on customers like Apple?
Those are the million-dollar questions. And it really shows why you can't just skim headlines or trust those analyst ratings blindly.
Couldn't agree more. Take everything we've talked about, go do some more digging, look at it from different angles, and then make your own call.
And hey, if you're liking this deep dive into Broadcom, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future episodes. We're here to help you figure out this crazy stock market and make better decisions.
Right on. So now let's shift gears a bit. Let's talk long term. What are the big trends that could shape Broadcom's future, beyond all the stuff we just talked about?
Yeah, the really big picture. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time looking at what Broadcom's doing right now, the good and the bad. But I'm curious about the bigger picture, like 5, 10 years down the road. What does that look like for Broadcom?
Yeah, good question. For that, we got to think beyond just the next quarter's earnings, right? We need to see the big trends that are changing the whole tech landscape. And one thing that jumps out is this whole edge computing thing.
Edge computing, I hear that a lot, but honestly, not really a tech wizard here. What is that exactly, and why should we care about it for Broadcom?
So think about it like this. Instead of all the data going to the cloud, it gets processed closer to where it comes from.
Okay.
So like self-driving cars, those smart factories everyone's talking about, even like your smart fridge, they all got to process info super fast right on the spot.
So instead of sending it to the cloud, it happens right there on the device itself.
Exactly. And that shift to edge computing, that's a huge opportunity for a company like Broadcom. They make the chips and the software that makes all that edge stuff work.
I see. So even if their other markets struggle, this edge computing thing could be a big win for them.
To be massive. And it's not just that. You got 5G networks still growing, the whole Internet of Things thing. And of course, AI keeps getting bigger. Broadcom's got a piece of all of that.
So even with the risks, there's good reason to think Broadcom's going to do well in the long run.
Yeah, lots of potential. But we can't forget that tech changes fast. New competitors pop up all the time. New technologies come and shake things up.
Right, so we can't just assume Broadcom will always be on top. They got to keep innovating to stay ahead.
For sure. And that's where their leadership comes in, how good they are at research and development, and if they can keep making smart acquisitions, all that stuff is going to be crucial.
So bottom line, should people invest in Broadcom? I guess that's up to each individual investor to decide.
But hopefully we've given you enough information to make a good decision. You know their strengths, their weaknesses, where the opportunities are, and what they need to watch out for.
Yeah, this deep dive has shown that there's way more to stock analysis than just looking at what analysts say or chasing the latest hype. Got to really understand the company, what they do, and think about the long game.
Yeah, that's what it's all about. And hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Broadcom, make sure you subscribe to the channel and click that bell icon so you don't miss any of our future episodes. We're here to help you understand this crazy world of investing.
Yeah, make smarter decisions. Knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your money. Thanks for joining us.